Then Akala says, you know, when I was a baby, people used to spit in my pram. Used to spit in his pram when we were a baby going up and down the street. Hey guys, welcome back. Going to do some Akala Fire in the Booth. For those of you that liked Dave's Black performance on the Brit Awards, apparently Akala's got just as much to say, if not more. So let's see how he does. Let's see how I do. It's a freestyle. Let's jump onto it.
Yo, okay, yo,
I like you. You're like a tiger.
Yes, I grew up on a dole in a single parent family. Been through a little bit of tragedy. Yes, I was around drugs and violence before the day that I started secondary. That's part of it, not half of it. Get the picture, the rest ain't necessary. Growing up, got a little caught up. That ain't even half of my life. Also.
So it's basically about saying, you know, we grew up single parent family. My mum was on the dole. You know, he's talking straight poverty. You know, I've been around drugs and violence. That's before I even started secondary school. You know, if you're watching in America, secondary school in England, you start secondary school when you're 11. So he's been around drugs and violence since before he started secondary. So like 10, 11 year old. That's just not even half of his life.
Necessary. Growing up, got a little caught up. That ain't even half of my life. Also given the knowledge of self, that is all we actually need to survive. If you saw me, age 9, reading Malcolm, just fine. Teachers still treated me stupid. Students that couldn't speak English, they put me in groups with. The irony is, some of the first man to give me schooling, you were called youngsters. How you already explained that we know what the truth is. They used.
So you say when they were 9 year old, they were reading Malcolm X, but in school, because of how he looked, his ethnicity, they put him in groups with kids, you know, that couldn't even speak English. And if that ain't stereotype, I don't know what is.
First man to give me schooling, you were called youngsters. How you already explained that we know what the truth is. They used to say, don't be like me. Yeah, I got a name and don't on the street. Nighttime comes, I can't sleep. It's the part that rappers don't speak. We don't hit the road cause we're thugs. Don't come out the room wanna sell drugs. If we got.
We don't hit the road because we're thugs. We don't come out the womb wanting to sell drugs. You say, you know, the real schooling that I had weren't at school because the teachers thought I was thick, thought I was dumb because of where I come from. Yeah, but the real schooling I got were out on the streets with the guys on the streets. But they're out there saying, you know, you don't want to grow up like me. Yeah, I've got a name for myself. Yeah, I've got a lot of money. Yeah, I'm making money doing things, you know, selling drugs, stealing. But when it comes to that night time, I can't sleep. And that's not what you get told, you know. You don't get told about the fact that you're always watching your back if you're in that sort of life.
Hit the road cause we're thugs. Don't come out the room wanna sell drugs. If we got the right guidance and love, would we fight people just like us? How could I knock the hustle to get by? How do you think I ate as a child? Judge no one, done many things wrong. Just don't boast about it in songs, but listen to my older bars. I was just as confused as you probably are, but you grow when you learn. Travel and cut, one too many man, you know, get caught up. One too many man that could have been doctors, end up spending the whole life boxed up. You learn.
So he's talking about, yeah, whatever you do in the streets, don't go around bragging about it. You know, because you just get a bad name for yourself and a bad name for the culture and the society that you're from. Yeah, then he goes on to say, you know, a lot of men been up against, they've been cut up. A lot of these guys have been boxed up and they have the potential to be something else. They have the potential to be doctors. They have the potential to, I don't know, prime ministers or anything that they wanted to be. But, you know, sometimes because of where they're from, the potential hits its peak when they hit the streets because they don't want to do anything else. They're making this easy money and then they either get killed or they get put in prison, boxed up for the rest of their life.
Doctors end up spending the whole life boxed up. You learn if you study, so set out just to make them money. No cover, it's all about getting poor people to fight with one another. So it's logical that us killing our brothers, dissing our mothers is right in line with the dominant philosophy of our time. But time is a cycle, not a line. Comes back around, you regain your mind. You be ready for the energy I challenge in my rhyme. Remedy the pedigree, the jeopardy of your mind. When the world's this leverage is a crime, we can all fight.
So he's saying, you know, if you study what actually happens, you know, in economically and stuff like that, yeah, it starts at the top. So you got your guys at the top that are earning that big money. I'm not talking about raps, I'm talking about corporations. And then that bit of money trickles down to the next stage, and then it trickles down, and it trickles down. You know, so it's like a pyramid scheme. You know, so the big guy at the top, and then the money's got to be spread out further and further and further as it trickles down. So you got these guys at the bottom you know, the guys in the poverty, and they're all fighting each other over this little bit of money that's left. You know, because everybody's took a chunk out as it's rolling downhill. So it's all set out just to make the rich people rich and the poor people fight over what little's left.
Energy I challenge in my rhyme. Remedy the pedigree, the jeopardy of mind. When the world's this left it is a crime. We can all fight with our brothers over crumbs. Harder to fight the one who makes guns. We can all talk get $2. Harder to be the one who seeks knowledge. If we understood,
we can all fight over the guys on the streets for these little crumbs, but it's harder to fight against the ones that actually make the guns. You know, the guys that are actually making the guns that we're shooting each other with on the streets, they're the ones that's actually making the money. Because these guys are out there buying the guns and they're getting richer off it. That's a lot of truth in that, man.
We can all talk get $2. Harder to be the one who seeks knowledge. If we understood economics with no money's nothing, think nothing of it. Money is a means to get wealth, not the wealth itself. And don't get confused, far from broke. All that you see me do I own, but I won't hang what I make around my neck. I know from where that the diamonds came, but I do literally own a library that definitely costs more than your chain. And businesses and property, far from starving. I eat quite properly and I don't care, just said it for the kids who need to.
He's basically saying, you know, that you can have your money, you can have your businesses, you can have all that stuff, yeah, but that might be wealth to you, but it's not wealth to me. Wealth to me is knowledge. Yeah, I own a library. Yeah, and that's worth more to me than your businesses and everything, because knowledge is power. You know, knowledge is everything. And it goes on to say, you know, I don't put what I earn around my neck. Talk about chains, diamonds, blood diamonds. You know, Sierra Leone, where those diamonds come from. It comes from countries with conflict and civil wars and places where everybody's killing people over just trying to get a little bit further in the life, because, you know, places like that is full of conflict. So he says that, yeah, I won't wear those diamonds around my neck because I know where they come from. And it's just making the guys that are mining that stuff get richer. And the guys, well, not the guys that are mining, it's making the workers are fighting each other, but it's making the company owners get the most money.
And property, far from starving, I eat quite properly and I don't care, just said it for the kids who need to know you're not broke to listen. Don't know an asset from a liability, they've never been shown or told the difference, so they don't change situation. Richest man in Britain is Asian, that's significant, not coincidence. Asian people build businesses not by flossing, going out shopping, giving up the culture for everyone's profit. Who runs Bollywood? Indian people. Who runs our ish? So we shake our ass.
Right, so he's saying, you know, you need to know your assets from your liabilities. But nobody's teaching these kids the difference between an asset and a liability. A liability is something that you don't own. An asset is something that you do own. So when you're going out buying your cars, buying your houses, you know, and you get your mortgages, that's a liability because you owe that money out. You go out, you buy a fancy car, you get it on tick, you get it on finance, HP, whatever, lease, whatever you want to call it. That's a liability because you don't own it. You can never sell it. You're always going to be paying it. Yeah, but you're also spending your money on things that you don't really need. So you're going out, you're buying clothes, you're buying trainers. We've all done. I do it. You know, everybody does it. Yeah, but you're saying that people need to be taught that that's not how you're going to get yourself further in life. You know, try to emulate the guys that have actually got the money. You can't buy the stuff that they've got. You know, you need to live within your means. And then he goes on to say, you know, Asian people are the richest people in Britain because they go out, they don't splash out on stuff. They just spend within the means and build businesses up.
Runs profit, who runs Bollywood? Indian people, who runs our ish? So we shake our ass and dance as if racism just upped and vanished. But has it? No, it's right on course. You're beaten so bad you're trained to ignore. Let me not just make sweeping statements. Give me a second, I'll explain it. For small amounts of drug possession, there's more black people in jail in America than there is for rape and armed robbery and murder all put together. You can say they're just locking up thugs. Imagine they're in prison, every middle class kid that had ever held drugs. Oh, that's right, that'd be your kids. Bigger than that, what is going on with this prison in America's private business to get...
He's doing the whole racism thing, saying, you know, the thing that the most black males are in prison for in America is drug possession. You know, that's more than rapists, murderers, and kidnappers all combined, because it's easier. I know I live in England, so this is all I can think of. It's easier, just to get guys off the street. Right, you've got some drugs on you, get you in prison. You're not going to be a problem anymore. Rather than just give them a warning, let them on the merry way. It's going hard in this one, hard. It just seems like they're looking for excuses to lock black people up, even if it is for possession of a small amount of drugs, if you get what I mean.
Every middle class kid that had ever held drugs. Oh, that's right, that'd be your kids. Bigger than that, what is going on with this? Prison in America's private business. They get paid 50k per year per inmate by the state. Just wait, also legally are allowed to use their prison inmates as slaves. Cheap slave labor, big corporations, they come out of jail when they can't get a job. So when we celebrate going to jail, we are literally celebrating enslavement. Add to that the
black guys are locked up in America, yeah, for having a little bit of drugs on them. But, the people that have got a bit of money, so your kid, which is what I said about the corporations, yeah, they're in middle school, smoking a bit of weed, they get away with it. Then he goes, what? The prisons get paid £50,000 a year per inmate. And those prisons are overcrowded. And then while they're in prison, they have to do labour there. They have to get jobs, I don't think they don't do the chain gangs anymore, do they? But you know what I mean? They do jobs in prison, but when they get out of prison, they can't do jobs. They won't get employed. So it's sort of like a vicious circle. Oh yeah, you can work while you're in prison, that's fine. But once you come out, you're not good enough to work. Because you've got this felon over your head.
Get a job. So when we celebrate going to jail, we are literally celebrating enslavement. Add to that the hood that you live in, engineered social condition that breeds crime by design. Where do you think you get your? Yeah, you could say that they're just black, but I like to deal with facts. In the 1920s, you would have found in America black towns, prospering centers of economics to education to make you proud. But some people couldn't bear that the former slaves would not just slide down to the KKK and other hate groups. Burn those towns to the ground, killing hundreds if it ain't understood. You think you were always living in the hood? It's only
so you come out of prison, yeah, and you just go back to your neighbourhood where you got arrested in the first place. So, like I said about it being a vicious circle, but you see, back in the 1920s, America used to have black towns until the KKK came along. Said, no, you used to be slaves. You're not having this. You don't have the rights for this. So we'll burn this shit down, and then you'll have nothing, and you can just go back into slavery. Or if you can't go back into slavery, we'll arrest you, we'll put you in prison, and then you'll just be made slaves again in prison.
Burn those towns to the ground, killing hundreds if it ain't understood. You think you were always living in the hood? It's only been 60 years since the hung blacks and burned them, and that was so cool. They were your baskets, picnic baskets, even gave kids the day off school. Go see a lynching, have a picnic, it's fun to watch the little monkeys die. And people act a little dysfunctional. You wanna pretend that you don't know why. If your colour means you can be killed and you're powerless to get justice about it, is it difficult to figure out how you would then end up feeling about it? And that ain't...
So you see, only 60 years ago, there were still hangings and burnings public squares. Your pastor used to turn up a picnic basket. The kids used to get the day off school just to go watch it. It's inconceivable that 60 years ago that was still going on. It might have been a bit longer now. I think this came out about 10 years ago, about 8 years ago. So call it 70 years ago. Still inconceivable. It's still 1950s. No wonder Akala's going so hard on this.
Justice about it. Is it difficult to figure out how you would then end up feeling about it? And that ain't excuses, just dealing with the roots of abuses that make a reality. We're a generation of young men speak of ourselves as dirt casually. That's America, this Britain. Something similar, some different. In this country, the first enslaved were the working class. What's changed? Worse jobs, worse conditions, most tax. Look where you live and yet you go to the pub. Friday night you will fight with a guy, don't know what for, won't fight with a guy.
So he's talking about, the first enslaved people were the working class. If he's talking about England, he's talking about the Industrial Revolution. Working in bad working conditions, yeah, for very, very low pay, but you get taxed massively. Then he talks about how I'll say it like this: how black people talk about themselves, downplay what they get called and stuff like that, and have taken on different names to call themselves. Yeah, which I won't say. The words that they use, names that they used to get called by racists, they they now call themselves that, to downplay that word. You know what I mean? And that's why I say, we still treat ourselves like dirt because we're still calling ourselves that name that we used to get called by racist people.
Friday night you will fight with a guy, don't know what for, won't fight with a guy. Shooting a tight who send your kids to die in a war. They don't send the kids to the rich or the politician, it's your kids, the poor British. They're the same to go and die in a foreign land for these wars that you don't understand. Yeah, they say you are British and that lovely patriotism they feed you, but in reality you have more in common with immigrants than with your leaders. I know both sides of my family, black and white, a fed ghetto mentality, reality in this system. Poor people are dirt regardless of shade. But with that said, let's not pretend that everything is the same. When our grandparents
talk about conscription, I'm saying, you talk about poor families, yeah, your kids are going to get, like in the First and Second World War, your kids were going to get called up first. Not the kids of the politicians, nah, not the high class, not the rich class. They're not going to get called up first. It's going to be the kids of the poorer families, the poorer, they're the first to get called up. If you've got a bit of money behind you, one of the elites, my son's not going to war. It's not happening. But they'll take other kids from poor backgrounds without thinking twice about it. And then he goes on to say, it doesn't matter what you shade. If you are poor, you are treated as dirt. You are treated less than other people. So it's not only is it all about racism, it's about economics and how people are looked down upon and the gulf between the rich and the poor.
said, let's not pretend that everything is the same. When our grandparents came here to Britain, if you had a criminal record you couldn't get in. That ain't protecting from all of the stupid abuses they will be living. Kicked in the teeth, stabbed in the street, many times firebombed our houses, put feces through our letterbox, and of course the cops did so much about it. Daily, up to the 80s, people spitting in my pram because I was a baby. But of course, that has had no effect on why today we are crazy. And none of this was for any good reason. They were just dark and breathing to ease the guilt now for all of this treatment, constant stereotypes are needed. So if I celebrate...
He's going so hard and saying so much stuff, man. So he's going on to say, when his grandparents tried to get into Britain, into England, if you had a criminal record, not allowed. You weren't allowed in. But the ones that got in, yeah, the ones that came over and that were allowed in, they got persecuted. So firebombs thrown at them, letters through the doors, kicked, beaten up, yeah, by people going at them because they fled their country to come to England. You know, and the people that had a criminal record weren't allowed in, but they're getting all this shit from people that already live in this country. Then Akala says, you know, when I was a baby, people used to spit in my pram. Used to spit in his pram when we were a baby going up and down the street. I just don't even have any words for that.
Start and breathing to ease the guilt now for all of this treatment, constant stereotypes are needed. So if I celebrate how big that my bricks that I'm flipping, clips that I'm sticking, chicks that I'm hitting, I'm playing my position. But if I teach a kid to be a mathematician, messing with the schism, how they gonna fill a prison when materialism is no longer our religion? What do you think we got now in Britain? Just like America, private prison.
So he's talking about, you know, stereotypes. So the stereotypes is that I don't really want to say this. Black people, you know, are quite well endowed, but they're always selling drugs. They're always fighting, killing people. You know, they're always, you know, going around with different chicks all the time. But if we were to flip that and say, you know, if they were to flip that and say, you know, right, well, I'm black, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to educate kids, I'm going to be a mathematician. He's going on to talk about, yeah, but these prisons won't get as much money because we won't be grabbing all these black guys off the street and putting them in prison and getting like £50,000 per prisoner, you know, because they're all doing good. They're all doing good. They're all being mathematicians. They're not living up to like the rap culture, you know, like you know what the rap culture is. How people talk about what they do in the streets and in the sheets.
Is no longer our religion. What do you think we got now in Britain? Just like America, private prison for profit. That mean when your kids go jail, people make money off it. So keep environments that breed crime, build more jails at the same time. Market badness to the kids in the rhymes. Long as rich kids ain't dying, it's fine. Get them to the point where some are so lost they actually believe if they don't celebrate killing themselves off.
So say we need to keep these societies. That we need to keep breeding these societies of poverty-stricken people that'll do anything to get money, anything that includes crimes or murdering, killing. Well, murdering is killing, idiot. selling drugs, kidnapping. You know, we need this so we can get money per prisoner, but it won't be no white people or nobody that's got a bit of money behind them getting put into prison because they won't be growing up in this lifestyle. They won't be growing up in these streets like these other guys.
To the point where some are so lost they actually believe if they don't celebrate killing themselves off. That it's because they're soft. Was Malcolm soft? Was Marley soft? Tell me, was Marcus Garvey soft? Well, was Muhammad Ali soft? Nah, I think not, but they want us to think that the road is cool. Being on road is all we could do. We don't control the wholesale production, so who benefits from us moving the food? All thinking there's no way out of road life, but Malcolm X used to hustle on the roadside. And Marcus Garvey organised more than 6 million people with no Facebook or Twitter. Why is it something you can't eat? One of my own.
So he's talking about the likes of Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Marcus Garvey, people that paved the way for change. You know, he's saying, but these guys like Malcolm X used to sell food by the roadside, and other people used to get the profit out of that. You know, no matter what you think, other people used to get profit out of that. Marcus Garvey, if I remember correctly, was it did some Jamaican something movement, Black Jamaican movement, something like that. It was a massive movement. It got all these people together through word of mouth because there weren't no Facebook and all like that back in the day.
With no Facebook or Twitter, why is it something you can't eat? One of my own homeboys did a 10 straight in the boxing yard. Now what's he doing? Passing his doctorate. Don't tell me that it's too hard. Who trained you to believe you're inferior? Songbo Ebedo in Nigeria are the remains of an ancient moat dug 1,000 years ago. 20 meters wide, 70 down. Round the remains of an ancient town that's 400 square miles around. 400 square miles around. Please don't believe me. It was a documentary on BBC, but we ain't studying history. Too busy watching MTV and
It's basically saying, you know, it doesn't matter where you're from or what you do. If you put your mind to it, you can do anything. So one of my homeboys, one of my mates, did 10 years straight in prison. He's come out and he's got himself a doctorate now. And he talks about this place in Nigeria that's got this 400 miles square moat around it that was dug 1,000 years ago. Well, they didn't have machinery to do that. It was dug, man-made. Yeah, that were 1,000 years ago. That's putting your mind and your abilities to do something, just like Marcus Garvey did to get these 6 million people together. If you put your mind to something, you can do it. Doesn't matter where you're from, your background, your colour, where you were born.
on BBC, but we ain't studying history. Too busy watching MTV, and MTV said wear platinum. Now everybody wanna go and wear platinum, and MTV said pop magnums. Now everybody wanna go and pop magnum. If MTV said drink prune juice, you will start hearing that in tune soon. Hey, today I wore my Cartier. Is it now more important what I got to say? Oh, and I drive a Mercedes, by the way, so everybody listen to what I got to say. Does that make you all happy? But if my head's still nappy, think for myself. So some mad at me, but on the mic ain't not one bad as me. All of this here's good for the rhymes. Put us in the same place at the same time, and it's clear to everybody I'm out of my mind. Some of these guys are running out of their rhymes. Clear to everybody that has got ears. I'm the guy that they just might fear, that they wanna get near, but they can't have a peer. Oh dear, I'm hard liquor, you just like beer. Front on the kid for another 5 years. Come to my shows and some cry tears.
I'm gonna have to stop it there because it's going on and on. I'm gonna have to take it back a little bit, but you know, it's basically talking about this documentary about this place in Nigeria. We're on BBC, but you guys are out there too busy watching MTV. What does MTV give you? It tells you to go wear platinum. Your guys go out, you wear platinum. It tells you to go get a Mercedes. Your guys go out and buy Mercedes. You know, you see other people doing stuff, and you copy them, you follow them, or you follow the trends, or you follow what you get told by, you know, a popular channel. So you just try to stay current. But you're doing all this and you're neglecting like the real history or the real stuff that you could be doing and learning. He said something else. He said a lot of things. He said something else which I kind of forgot what he said. Oh, he talked about people running out of. I think he was talking about people running out of rhymes because they've run out of things to talk about in tracks. So he's saying here, you know, I can go on and on, talk about different stuff because there's a million different schemes that I can do basically, because there's a million different topics I can do. But your guys are just talking about guns, girls, cars, money. Basically, that's it. There's only so many times you can put that into a rhyme scheme. You know, telling you to out buy Magnum, bought platinum, see girls, bought myself a Cartier watch. There's only so many times you can repeat that in the track.
but on the mic ain't not one batters me. All of this here's good for the rhymes. Put us in the same place at the same time, and it's clear to everybody I'm out of my mind. Some of these guys are running out of their rhymes. Clear to everybody that has got ears. I'm the guy that they just might fear, that they wanna get near, but they can't have a peer. Oh dear, I'm hard liquor, you just like beer. Front on the kid for another 5 years. Come to my shows and some criteria mean that much to them. It's a movement. I don't speak for myself, but a unit. Black, white, man, woman. Anyone who respects truth, we put in. Dudes are like no dinner, we're just.
So you see, I'm talking to everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're black, you're white, you're male or female. I'm talking to everybody. And some people have come to my shows and it's moved them to tears. Literally moved them to tears. He said, and also he said, you know, like I said, these guys are running out of rhymes. Listen to your ears. You know, you can come as hard as you want, but I'm like a liquor. You're just like a beer. I'm that hard stuff, and you're just coming fizzy or flat.
Anyone who respects truth, we put in. Dudes are like no dinner, we're just pudding. Yeah, you're sweet but no substance pudding. You can never ever be with a level on. Our songs get played out there in Lebanon. We speak for the people properly, not for the old fat guys in offices and the girls love him. Ain't fair, you can't even be bothered to comb his hair. Anyway, that's enough kissing my own ass. Back to the more important task of being so shower. I got half the hood screaming, knowledge is power. And I ain't saying that.
What did I say at the beginning? Knowledge is power. Or did I say knowledge is wealth? I said something like that. But it says, these guys out there, yeah, they're rapping like dinner with just pudding. Yeah, so it's just that sweet stuff. It's got that no substance to it. You know, you want your meat and your potatoes before you get to your pudding. You want that. You know, you want that substance. You want that protein before you get to your sweet stuff. You know, your sweet pop rap, bubblegum rap. You want that. This is that downright grimy and dirty stuff. The stuff that you don't want to hear about.
I got half the hood screaming, knowledge is power. And I ain't saying that'll change rap, black, but I do know this for a fact. Right now there's a youth on your block with his hands on his face screwed up. So he don't care, don't give a that he won't let nobody call his bluff, but the words go in. Open your shackles, once that's happened, there is no going backwards. You start to see what is really happening. Who the enemy you should be attacking is. So read, stuck on the block, read, sitting in the box, read. Don't let them say what you can achieve. Cause when people are enslaved, one of the first things they do is stop them reading. Cause it is.
When people are enslaved, the first thing to do is stop them reading. Slaves were not allowed to educate themselves. He's talking about this youth on the block, yeah. He's looking for conflict for no reason. So, but what these kids need to be, these kids need to educate themselves. These kids need to go back to the 1920s and educate themselves right back there. Not just watching this MTV and being in this rap. Well, I won't say rap because I listen to a lot of rap. But this facade of how people are living, if you get what I mean, because not all rappers are out there with guns selling drugs. A lot of these people are just making up stories to sell records.
Cause when people are enslaved, one of the first things they do is stop them reading. Cause it is well understood that intelligent people will take their freedom. Cause if we knew our power, we would understand we can't be held down. If we knew our power, we would not elevate not one of these clowns. If we knew our power, we wouldn't get arrogant when we get 2 pennies. If we knew our power, we would see what everybody sees, that we're rich already. But never mind, MCs go run for your mummy. I'm hungry, I run for my tummy. That's enough, back to worshipping money. I'm off, back to the study. Man!
That was just non-stop. That was non-stop history. That was non-stop knowledge. These guys need to go run back to their mummy after hearing what I've just put out there. It went deep with that. You know, I made a lot of subscribers on the video that I did for Dave. If any of you watch this till the end, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that this is just as an empowering message as what Dave had, as what this had. You know, let's compare them. Let's see, because you know that both powerful messages, both of them were. Yeah. So anyway, guys, that's that one done. Thanks for watching. If you watched till the end, thanks for subscribing, liking, commenting, doing all the good stuff. I'll see you guys on the next one.